There's been a lot happening in AI this week, especially inside ChatGPT. There are new features that are rolling out at a pace that's honestly hard to keep up with, which is exactly why we're covering them today. I'm going to walk you through several of these new ChatGPT updates that I think are genuinely useful. And we'll also check out a new one, brand new from Magi, that caught my attention. Hey, everyone, welcome to AI Shortcuts to Work Smarter. I'm Madalyn Sklar, your host, helping content creators and entrepreneurs master AI tips, tools, and shortcuts. You've come to the right place for helpful advice to work smarter, not harder, in your business and everyday life. And by the way, I'm opening up a limited number of one-on-one sessions each week. If you like my help with AI, social media, or just business growth, head over to madalynsklar.com or just reach out to me here. Learn from someone who's been doing this for 30 years, over 30 years now. All right, we got lots to discuss today. Let's bring up all of our guests. Oh, and Rachel just made it too. Hey, everybody, good to see y'all.
Hiya.
Great to see you.
Jim's back. We've missed
Hi,
you, Jim.
Hey, Rachel. We've been chatting through Messenger.
Hi, Barb.
Rachel.
Oh, cool. Yeah, it's kind of been the gal show lately. Rachel and Barb, or sometimes just me and Barb. But yeah, we've missed you, Jim.
Where's Bez been? He hasn't been around.
I haven't seen him in a while.
I know.
He must have something new on his schedule.
Well, he's got a lot of responsibility with that Million Cups thing, and I'm in his Georgia group.
Yeah.
Because I know it's been more quiet there, but I think that's what's happening is he's just the responsibility that he's got going. He's had too many conflicts, but I sure miss him.
Yeah. Well, this is just a 1 hour hangout, and if people have time in their schedule, great. And if not, that's okay. I'll always be here. So, but I appreciate it. It's just great having the four of us today. Jim, you got something new. Show us your new toy.
So these are the Oakley Meta transition lenses, and they will let me, like right now, I guess they're playing some music that's in my phone.
I hear it, yeah.
But I can, let me turn it down then.
We don't want to get in trouble. YouTube doesn't like that.
That's right. There, I turned it down.
It in a meeting.
But I can take a picture of us right now just by snapping that, and then it just took a picture. I can also record. I can also say like, hey, Meta, start recording. And so now it's recording everything I'm looking at. And then when I say, hey, Meta, stop recording, it stops it. So what was cool is I was at the Braves game, was it Tuesday night before the rain took over? And I just out of, I guess you could say luck, I told it to start recording when Drake Baldwin was up for the first time. And I caught his home run. So I posted that as a reel on Facebook. But you can download the pictures and the video to your gallery. It syncs up with the Meta AI. But like I was telling you guys, I got them reasonable through my insurance. I was able to get the new frames and the lenses for me less than $200. So maybe I have good insurance.
Nice.
But so I'm using those now. But you have to think about it because they are battery powered. You can turn them off. But I try to think of like, okay, when do I want to use these? Or even as an example, I've done some examples where I'm recording myself with the phone, and then I am like integrating the lenses so you can see what I'm seeing, and so kind of
nice
jump cuts. So yeah, I like how it's. I think in some ways it'll help me create some content a little easier. Because I don't have to I got to get my phone out. It's just a matter of thinking to catch the picture. And I want to give a shout out to Rachel because, and Rachel, you can correct me of what I should or shouldn't do. So Rachel posted on Substack about how people that are in the process of writing a book need to start talking about it early. And so I know her and I think we're going to talk about it a little bit more next week, but I guess you could say I'm the author of an upcoming book called Lights Camera Substack that I've already got the first draft done. So it's but I know I can't wait till the book is
That's
done
wonderful.
to market it. So I'm looking forward to talking to Rachel about that.
Nice,
I'm
nice.
excited. Yeah, I wrote that article because I had written an article, I don't know, years ago, on my blog before I was even on Substack that said the best time to market a book is before it exists. And so I reshared that post and I got all these people going, that's so stupid. Why would you do that? Why would you market something that doesn't exist? And I was like, well, let's write part 2. So that's what I did. And I used the example of Independence Day, the movie.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Because that was the first time that a trailer dropped 1 full year before the movie. And it didn't really tell us anything except for that a bunch of junk got blown up, right? Well, not junk, I shouldn't say, but right. So like we all had to look at that for a year and we were interested, right? We were like, what is this thing? We had never seen the White House get blown up or the Statue of Liberty laying on its side, you know, so it was like a big thing. And it was a full year. And so marketing and marketing classes and marketers themselves in all different forms of entertainment have studied that for 30 years is when
Wow.
that
That 30 years.
4th of
Wow.
July in 95 is when the trailer came out. And then 96 on that
Movie.
day is when the movie, and we all remember that.
Interesting. Wow. Thank you for sharing that story.
Yeah.
I just didn't realize it was so long ago.
I know. I feel old.
I didn't either
It
until
was like a lifetime
did the
ago.
numbers. I was like, oh my
Wow.
God.
Wow.
That's crazy.
That was a long time ago. Well, thank y'all for sharing all this stuff and congrats, Jim, all that exciting news. And yeah, so lots happening with ChatGPT in the past week since we were here. Now, we've talked before about like, am I going to venture over into Claude and go get me a paid account and go focus a whole bunch of energy on that? And I had decided I'm just sticking with ChatGPT and then Magi. I use Magi for everything else like Claude and Nano Banana and the other things I want to use. But I've just been really happy with ChatGPT. And when you've been using one AI platform for years, everything if you're a power user like I am, everything is just so ingrained in it. And while, the experts all say, well, you can just take all your data and move it over to the other LLM. Easier said than done. I've done that with Claude and it's okay. It's not perfect. I think honestly, it just takes time if you're going to move platforms. But I know a lot of people have gone back to ChatGPT for a variety of reasons with Claude. And then last week, the big news was that new Claude got shut down 3 days after it was launched, the Fable 5. And I know a lot of people have been getting frustrated with things over at Claude. And I just say, look, pick one that works great for you. And they all have their little differences and quirks and things. I just love all the features, especially on my $20 a month plan, the ChatGPT Plus. And there's, a variety of new features that just came out. Some are going to be for the paid account. Some will be for the free. But then there's Magi for the all-in-one. And it's just like finding what works for you. Any thoughts on that, Jim, with how you're utilizing your LLMs?
Well, I think you hit on something very important. I think it can get very challenging if you're constantly jumping around. And Rebecca Radice just wrote a really interesting article. I think it was her first Substack post. And she was talking about how some people are spending so much time spinning, if you want to call their wheels, on what AI to use as opposed to actually coming up with a system that is actually moving you forward. And you're almost like you're delegating your thinking to these things as opposed to like, okay, what's the system that I need to make out of my AI and doing it, because I know you see it all the time, right? All these people talking about, I'm going to create this agent and that agent, and I'm going to write this and I'm going to write that. It's like, but what are you actually accomplishing other than continuing to delve into it? And I think there's a little bit of the backlash, as an example, with what happened with Claude, where people start to question, the whole AI thing again. And I think like one of the reasons I like, coming on the show is this is us being real, being ourselves, as opposed to, let's create clips with, AI avatars and 11 labs for our voice. And so I think I like how it helps us speed things up. But I think, if it works for you, why change it?
And for some people, it does work for them. I'm not a fan of those at all. I want to be real, transparent. What you see is what you get, not some AI version. I just like using AI to help me be more productive and to kind of be this second brain. Especially, I'll tell you one thing, as we get older, it's so much more helpful. It's so much more helpful because I know Barb us older gals. Oh my God. I think back to like, 10, 15, 20 years ago, AI is great, but like, you don't need it for the second brain nearly as much. But like at my age, I'm like, oh my God, this is so helpful. I wouldn't have needed this kind of second brain type of help, 10 years ago. But, I just don't like saying my age, but it's not young. You'll see when you get to that, it seems like with every decade, there's always like that little, it's like, so that's when trying to remember everything. It's like, what's happening? I love how I'm utilizing AI, but we just, we find our thing that works for us. And I think it's great. Some
Right.
people, love having that avatar version. It's getting harder and harder to distinguish the real from the AI.
Yeah. I've been delving into the avatar thing. I'm not going to mention any AI that I'm using on that. And I did quickly use 11 Labs, and I thought, well, that's expensive to be playing with. You got to be serious about it and have a mission. And I thought, do I really want people to know about me after I'm gone? And I had an instructor who was using it, and he dived into it because he had he was right at the tail end of the baby boomer phase, and his daughter is, I think, Gen Zer in there. And, he wanted to have something to leave to his daughter. And I get that 100%. I mean, it's going to be different when we're all gone. And, can you hear? To me, it still gets down to the voice, but, I'd like to hear mom and dad or see mom and dad or whatever. And in using the avatar, I think it has its place, but I think it's called responsible usage of any of these technology tools. And that hasn't changed since the PC came out.
Right.
I mean, there were people that were doing bad things with PCs, and it's with only 64K memory. It's like, hello? And all the power we have now, it's crazy.
Well, and that's why it was concerning with the whole Claude 5 fable, and that the government decided to step in and say, this is problematic.
We're going too far. Well, yeah. Why the government steps in is because constituents, for whatever the representatives are for each of those states, are calling and saying, hey. So when you look at that, you look at what percentage of each demographic, each age group is actually voting and expressing things with their representatives, and that impacts what they do.
Right.
And so it's really, if you younger people are out there, you need to let you need to communicate with mom and dad. You need to let them know that you can do things responsibly. And sadly, I had a Gen Zer let me know this week, and it was just a precious moment, because it was like, wow, you don't know everything, Barb. Because I had no idea that over this last year and a half or so that they've got a new tagline as being the loneliest generation in the world. I had no idea about that, when they have all this technology to deal with, and
wow. Yeah.
Communication and so forth. It was mind-blowing. And it was interesting because I said, hey, I have this live streaming tool. You can jump into StreamYard with me and we can just chat about it. And I might take you up on that. Maybe later,
Yeah.
There's something there in the communication process that they just don't feel comfortable. And so I have some education for myself. I need to learn more about, because while I'll be gone, this, they have children too. I mean, it's just a situation that is where we're coming in society, and the technology just, you all know I'm a cancer survivor, but I'm looking, the very first thing that happened when AI opened is, what is it going to do with healthcare? What is it going to do? Because we as humans, we are not invincible. So no matter what, and we also, this aging process, our capabilities change. And so can AI help with that? What if Madalyn and I could just go in and get a new chip in our head to help us be extra perky every day?
They made a movie about that.
Yeah, no, you blew it. You took the line right away from me.
Yeah. Fascinating discussion for sure. Well, let's go ahead and dive in. I want to make sure I have time to show all these different new features I've come across. I'm going to start off with from ChatGPT. I love this new, well, it's not new, but this X account I found is separate from the OpenAI and ChatGPT. This is ChatGPT app. And so they're always showing like all the new features. And so one thing that is brand new as of yesterday is better way to schedule your tasks. And it is a paid feature. You got to be on at least the $20 a month plan or higher. It's not on the free account. But there are a handful of ChatGPT features that are the reason why I pay $20 a month that you don't get on the free account. This is one of them. I've been using this feature since it came out. Like, it's been out quite a while now. I would say over a year, maybe 2 years. But this feature allows you to schedule things. And one thing that I like as a solopreneur and always needing that extra boost of motivation and accountability and staying on track with my daily to-do list, I have it set so Monday through Friday in the morning, it checks in with me to check in and let chat know like what's on my to-do list for today, so we can kind of brainstorm and map out my day. And I just find that helpful. And you can create it however you want. And I like motivational quotes, so I gave it like 5 different business guru motivator types that I like, and I just pick a random quote from them, and I just kind of give it like this prompt of what exactly I'm looking for. And I love that feature. But what they're saying here now is that they're making it even better. The scheduled task features is faster, more reliable, easier to manage. They now have a separate schedule page where you can just kind of keep track, but it is for the pay, the Go, Plus, Pro, and Business and Enterprise. But let me just show you, because I just think this is just one of those features that's cool about this when you're paying $20 a month. So it's just one of the interesting, cool features, and they've improved on it basically. I've really liked that feature as long as they've had it, and it's not always 100% perfect. Sometimes it forgets to check in. I'll be like, hello. I'll go to, because it'll just be one long thread of it, and I'll just be like, where's the new one? And I'll be like, I'm waiting. What happened? And sometimes it will bring in some old information. It's not always 100% perfect, but overall, in the grand scheme of things, is a great feature for my needs. And so it's just something I've always enjoyed having access to. And I like hearing that, they're making it better and more reliable. So I think that's good. Also, on ChatGPT has an interesting page I've uncovered or OpenAI is the release notes. So it's always like the latest that's new. It's not a short URL, but it's in their help. but I keep this bookmarked because I can always just easily go see like what are the, here it is, a change log of the latest updates and release notes for ChatGPT. And so it goes into more detail about the schedule task feature with sending reminders, handling recurring work, monitoring things for you, and just making it a lot easier. And so they got this new scheduled page, which they didn't before. And it still is in the settings and the personalization section, but now they actually have a dedicated page where you can also just go directly to and have it set up or pause or edit or do whatever. But it's saying it's going to be faster and more reliable. So I'll be interested to see if it really does get a little bit better than what it already is. But it's just something I really enjoy. If anybody wants the link to this page, because again, I find this really useful because they just keep you updated on what are the latest things they've updated overall. And it's just a really helpful link. I will have it linked. I'll put it over in our school community at AI Shortcuts to Work Smarter. And I know we're live streaming to multiple places right now, but in the YouTube for my Madalyn Sklar YouTube channel, I'll make sure later when I add in all the links to what we're watching today, I'll be sure to put that link in there as well. So if anybody would like quicker direct access to it. And so speaking of this scheduled AI task, something that was really interesting, I caught a message yesterday at Magi, my favorite all-in-one AI tool, where Dustin did a post talking about how he just added it over into Magi, that he has now fully automated where you can schedule AI tasks. So I'm reading this going, oh my gosh, how cool is that? So not only is that something I've been able to do in ChatGPT and they've improved on it now, is talking about how you can connect your integrations, define a task, tell Magi when to run it. And it sounds great. The problem is I don't know how to do it. And so I'm waiting for a how-to. And every Wednesday, Dustin and Steve Dotto co-host an AI. They do like an AI live stream. It's called AI Academy. And if you are a subscriber, if you're a paid member of Magi, like I am, you get free access to it. And so I'm usually not able to make it live, but I'll always catch the replay. So they recorded it yesterday where Dustin says he went into detail how this works. It's not live yet. The replay's not there. So I've already bugged him a few times. And I'm like, you can see in my comment there on the right sidebar, that was from yesterday, where I was like, can't wait to try it, just waiting on the replay to show up. And then I sent him another message this morning. Do you know when it'll be up? Because I'm eager to see it and see like what all can I do with scheduling tasks inside of Magi and how that compares to ChatGPT. What are y'all's thoughts on this? Like these AI tools making it easier for us to be even more productive.
I definitely think there's something to that. I mean, I think one of the things I've thought about doing, but I haven't done it yet, is like having a task where it kind of goes out and maybe creates like the outline of a newsletter with maybe some things in a certain topic, or even like for me, like local, like, hey, go out and search all these local sites and give me a summary of all the events that are coming up that I could then share with people in my community. So I know there's a way to do that. I just haven't done it yet, but that's a lot easier than doing it yourself.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's nice being able to just automate things. And I know Codex, with ChatGPT can like do it on steroids. And then you've got Claude with I know there's multiple things inside of Claude. Which one is that? Claude Work,
Co-work?
Co-work. I think Claude Co-work is the one that can do that. But I'm really excited to see how this works inside of Magi.
Mm-hmm.
And who knows, I might like doing things like that over there better, especially because with Magi, you have access to all the tools. It's not, like if you're paying for ChatGPT or you're paying for Claude, you just have access to their stuff natively inside the app. Whereas with Magi, you get all of them. And it's not just the LLMs. You're also getting all those image generators, all the video generators. It's like 50 tools.
But do you think, I guess someone one question, or if you want to call it potential concern, would be how is that going to affect your your credit usage in Magi
Good
as opposed to
question.
doing it
Good question.
natively in some of these others?
And that's why I want to see the replay of the video they did yesterday, because they always do Q&A in it, and I'm sure somebody asked. And if not, I'll be sure to ask Dustin, because that's such a great question. But here's the thing. I've been doing the paid $20 a month ChatGPT plan forever. I've never run into issues where I've overused, there's always this system, tokens, credits. They don't always tell you exactly how many you have left at ChatGPT. They just notify you when you're getting to your limit or you've
Right.
gone over the limit, and then they stop you. Magi, you can always see at any time your usage and see how they have a great graph that'll show you, where you're at and how many days you have left. And then you can always top off if needed. But I've done a variety of scheduled tasks in ChatGPT over the years, and I've never ever gone over. And the amount of time I spend on that platform, I always figured I would have by now, and I haven't. So it can be kind of subjective, because one of the frustrations I've always had with ChatGPT is they're just not always forthcoming with, like, okay, on the free account, like, when are you going to cut me off, like, for the day? And like, how far can I push the limit? You don't know till you just do it and see when they cut you off. I can tell you this, on the $20 a month ChatGPT plan, that the whole advanced voice audio mode, where you talk to it and it talks back like a person. I know in the free account they do have the limitation. I forgot what it was, but on the paid account, if I will talk nonstop doing that for like an hour, then it'll stop me and say, like, I can still use ChatGPT. I just can't do the voice where me and it are having a conversation back and forth with voices, which is fine. Because one time I did that and I was having such a long brainstorming session, it finally got to the point where it's like, okay, you've used this long enough. You got to wait till tomorrow to go back to voice. So I just had to actually, and so instead of like, oh, okay, so the flip side is I just got to go back to typing, which I don't want to do. I just use WhisperFlow. Another great reason to have WhisperFlow, because WhisperFlow is basically the same thing, but it's not talking back to me, because, it's just one way. But if people are not using WhisperFlow yet, this is one of the best tools out there, and it's free. You don't have to do the paid. It's free. But I think after you use it for a few weeks on the free, you're going to go like, oh my God, this is amazing. And for $12 a month, this is a no-brainer. But I definitely recommend WhisperFlow. Oh my gosh, if I'm going to be coming up on a year that I've been using it. I can't believe how long I've had it, because I know it's gotten more popular now and people talk about it all the time. But I think I'm just more of one of their OG, because when I signed up into it, not that many people were using it yet. Durham Skywriter says, I asked ChatGPT and Gemini to identify local events for my online community paper. I tell them to list the names of the events, date, locations, and contact info of the event host. That's great. I like that. That's excellent. Larry says, I wonder if the difference might be with Magi, you won't need to have your LLM on, unlike Claude, where tasks won't run unless your computer is connected to the internet. Interesting. Very interesting on that. Yeah. I'm just waiting to learn how to use this new feature. So I was hoping I thought usually Steve is good about uploading their weekly replays up same day. And I mean, I was just, once I saw Dustin's announcement for this new feature, I'm just like, okay, I'm ready. I want to see how this works. And I mean, I probably checked it like, too many times yesterday and this morning. I even checked it right before we came on. I'm like, oh, it'll be there right when I'm ready to start this live, but it wasn't. So, but I bugged Dustin enough. He says he would check in with Steve and see, because I'm eager to see what all we can do with it. And then I'm sure by next week, I'll have more information to share. Another cool feature that I've come across, and I noticed it before I saw the announcement. This announcement was on Monday, but I was already noticing it. So ChatGPT, and it's not really clear if this is paid. I think this is for everyone. I'm pretty sure. So somebody that's on a free ChatGPT, let me know if you can do this. But basically, you have the ability to pin some of your chats. And I mean, it was new, at least for me on the paid plan months ago. and you can do up to 3. So on your left sidebar, this is it's on mobile too, but on the left sidebar, you could have 3 of them pinned. So that way you can just, easy access to them. I loved it. It would pin at the top of the chats. Love that feature. Well, what they recently did now is you can have up to 10. And not only that, it's in its own section now, and you can even include projects. And I love this. Now, I'm pretty sure is projects free? I think you can do that on free. I don't know if that's just a paid feature, projects. Does anybody know? I've had the paid account for so long now, I don't always remember what the limitations are on the free. But anyway, bottom line is on your left sidebar, you can have up to 10 total. So I noticed that before I saw this notification. And to make it even easier, it says that you can just hover. So this is on desktop. You can just hover over to pen. So let me play the little video here, and then I'll show y'all on mine an example. It's a little too fast. You know what? And I'm going to turn the music off. Let me see if I can. I'm pretty sure I could slow this down, right? Yeah. The first time this thing I played, I'm like, oh my God, that was too fast. I couldn't even see half of what. So let me just try this on a slower speed with no sound. So you can see as you hover, the pen shows up. And then if you have one, and then if you have, let me back up a little bit. So you hover and there's the pen. And then for the ones that already are pinned, you can hover over it and unpin it. It's really cool. I'm super impressed with this. So you can do that. You can pin your projects. You can organize them by list or project. I really like this a lot. I'm super impressed. But it's really a great feature for those of us that are like super organized, and I know it's not a feature everybody's going to use, but it's really helpful for me. So does anybody have any thoughts on that?
Oh, I can definitely see where that's going to be helpful if you're someone that does a lot of chats and there's ones that you want to go back to. It's no different than being able to pin, tweets or even Facebook posts to the top, because that's something that you want to be able to access easily.
Yep. Great for organization.
Exactly. That's, and I'll tell you what, when it comes to organization, that's one of the reasons why I signed up for Magi when Dustin first created it over 3 years ago. Because when ChatGPT came out, I was using it right away, but I felt like this is a great tool, but you can't stay organized with it. And one of the biggest frustrations, early on, is it's just a left sidebar of all your chats. And I was using it a lot, and I'm like, I'm trying to find a chat from a month ago. It wasn't easy to do. There's no search, there's no organization. And it'd be amazing if we can organize with folders or something, right? And when Dustin created ChatGPT, his Magi, that ChatGPT was the only LLM out at the time. And that was one of the big things he did. And that's what drew me to it. We're friends. And of course, I love supporting. He creates great tools I've always used. But he had you can organize all of your chats inside ChatGPT, but you're doing it on Magi. Magi is going back and forth to ChatGPT. You're still using ChatGPT, but you're using it inside of his platform, which is actually more secure. They're not going to let ChatGPT use your data. I love that. So organization was so important to me. So I've just and then as other tools came out, I remember when Claude came out, I'm like, what's this new Claude? Well, the beauty was in Magi, it's like, oh, I think I'll just click on Claude instead of ChatGPT. Let's see what kind of results I get. And I was like, oh, this one writes really good. So there was a time I was just using Claude, and then ChatGPT would get a little better. And then it was just back and forth. But it's just finding what works best for you. And yeah, Larry says, speaking of organizing, I started archiving old chats. So that's something cool in ChatGPT. You can actually archive. A lot of times I'll just archive as I go just to keep it off the sidebar, especially because
Yeah.
for me personally, 10 pens is not enough. I like being super organized, and I've already been like, I'm trying to pin something. You're at your limit of 10. I'm like, oh shoot. Well, I really want this one pinned. So that means I got to remove one of the others. I'll look at it all. I'm like, which one? No, I seriously, that happened yesterday. And I'm like, oh, I'm just too organized. I'm just too into just all of that. But let me show mine. So you can see, here's my 10. I have one project folder, and then the rest are just all, and I just swap them out as I want to be, especially, okay. So one of the biggest issues, I know this is small on the screen if you're not, especially if anybody on mobile, but here, I mean, we're all different with how we operate. The way I operate is I'm doing lots of different chats, and then tomorrow's going to come or next week's going to come, and I'm going to want to go back to that other chat. So I like having the pin feature. So it's like, okay, I can put it right here. So I'll know, like, this is something I want to go back to easily, because trying to do searches is not always easy. So one of the reasons why I use the project folders is to group things so I can just easily find it. I know a lot of people use project folders too, because you can add sources. So an example would be, you could have, like, let's say you're working on a book and you have a project folder and just called my book, and you can go into sources and just just have your different documents, your different references, whatever. So it's all in one place, and it will utilize all that when you're using a chat in that project folder. I mean, I know a lot of people use it for that. For me, it's just mostly like, okay, if I have a folder called something, I'll just know when I want to go back to that something, I just go to that folder. I don't know. I mean, we're all different. I'm curious to hear how other people utilize their organization for, like, projects. And
I think you can get really tied up in setting up all these projects and all of that separately, and then just listening to you, it's like, okay, now my 10 are who's gonna, I have 11 here, who's going out? And it's no, you're more important than that. So I mean, it's crazy, and the bottom line is you've got to get things done, and you've got to stay on mission.
yes, and I'm so glad you said that, Barb, because I'm like, oh shoot, what was that chat I was working? Because I am too much of a too many things at once. I've always been this way. I can't help it. I'm trying not to. So what I'm noticing with ChatGPT is I got so many of these different chats. So I'm either having to write down at least the name of it, if I have it just so I can remember where I have it, because it's too hard to search and find it manually. But then it's like what you said. I'm like, okay, this is a sign I need to just focus on one thing for long enough to get it done before I move on. But the problem is I'm an idea person. So I'll get, like 10 or 20 ideas a day. And it's like, let me ask ChatGPT, let's have a conversation about this chat. And I'm like, oh, there's some good ideas here. And I'm like, oh, these are really good. Oh, I need to definitely refer back, but I got to go back to the other thing, and it's like, that's where I lose some of this stuff. And it gets a little frustrating. So the pen features, being able to do 10, is helping me kind of group, like, the things right now and just kind of keep them clustered together. I don't know. I just need to stop trying to do it all. It's a little much.
You can get too far out there. And in fact, those lives I was in earlier today, the very first one was about, sticking to task and getting things done. And, just for me, it's been, since the early 80s, and I had Notepad to work with. I said, I've been a person that creates a list of the top 10 things for the day, and it is funny how you keep in those files, like Madalyn said, well, I've got number 11 here now. What's going to happen? Because for us who are creatives, I mean, we have that challenge every day of our lives.
Right. I'm sure my way is just not the average for most people. And that's okay.
I think it's the creative's way. And it's not a bad thing.
It's not just that, the multi-passionate creatives, where it's like I'm juggling. I mean, for years now, I'm juggling like 3 separate types of work stuff and things that I'm passionate about that I want to be spending my time on. It's like, I need to just be working on one. And that's not
Exactly.
easy. It's not easy when you're, I mean, I pretty much call it now, I'm a multi-passionate entrepreneur. So there's always at minimum 2 completely separate businesses. For 30 years, there's always been at least 2 separate businesses I'm running at once.
Yeah, I can relate to that.
And it's just, I've had to accept that
But
because when I try not to, it doesn't work. But I'm just trying to utilize these AI
you can put
tools.
that into ChatGPT, quite frankly.
I have.
And that's exactly what I did, because when you speak of multi-passionate entrepreneurs, when I came out from my from the hospital, from the cancer journey, it was like, okay, you've got this new opportunity to live, girlfriend. What are you going to do? And I said, I want $2,000 for Marie Forleo's class, because she's a multi-passionate entrepreneur. She gets me,
Right.
But here I am down the road. And she gives you lifetime access to it. Most of these other great ones do. And every year I go through it, and it's like, you still haven't written your book, Barb. You still haven't done this, Barb. You still haven't done that, Barb.
Right.
And it's like, time is running out. And I think the very best thing, and I come right full circle to it, is the fact that we can be live here with each other each day. And if you set a schedule and you make a commitment to be somewhere, show up and just do it, and just keep at it. And I think that ChatGPT has become more invaluable to me because of that, because I've just been honest with it. I uploaded I was participating in another live this morning, and I said, well, I put my old resumes in there, because I even had samples. When you create a resume to go search for a job back in the old days, you had draft after draft, because there were people dynamics in every job that you take, and you don't want everybody to know all these things, and so you're editing it and so forth. And I found it just extremely invaluable. And what happened in other projects I had in ChatGPT, it pulled from that experience and responding to me. And it's like, well, that's me writing that. And I'm like, I'm going to argue with you. That can't be you. That's me. And so that's when you're doing a good thing.
Yeah, definitely.
And of course, some of you have always used another B word for my name. It is a time in life. You better be very careful. ChatGPT has that insight on me too.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. Oh man. Another feature with ChatGPT that they just mentioned this week is they're saying lightning fast for when you upload photos on the iOS app. I don't notice a difference on my end, so I don't know if that means I've already had this or what, but let me play a little video, because or maybe it's just a little bit faster than it was. Let me play this for you. And I literally use it for stuff like that. I will literally take a picture of the thing and ask it a question just like that. It's
exactly.
like, click, what is this? Or can you explain this? Or whatever question I have. But maybe it's just a faster, more seamless. I mean, I watched this video. I'm like, well, I'm not quite clear. It looks like how I do it normally. But it says it's a new improved way to upload your photos into ChatGPT on iOS. They're saying it's faster, more fluid. It will the attach menu now transitions smoothly into the camera. Captures happen more quickly. Selected images move more. I mean, it did look like when it took the picture, it was very fast from there with it uploading and then, chat doing its thing. So it's like, okay. I mean, I didn't notice it was lagging. Maybe it was. I just wasn't paying attention. But okay, interesting little tiny feature that they just released to the public. And then another one I came across is turn any ChatGPT or any chat in your ChatGPT to a note. So I'm not quite sure about this one, but let me show you all this and play the little, I like how they have little videos of this stuff so at least we can understand what it is. So it says you can turn any message from ChatGPT into an interactive writing block. Just highlight chat's response and click create note. These can be saved to your library, then retrieved, future reference in a feature chat. So let me show y'all this. I was asking how to make soup. Make a grocery list from it. Organized by shopping aisle. That was really cool. I'm like, oh, I could use help with that. Now it's highlighting. I guess it's to create the note. Yeah, it wants the writing block and then the create note. So I'll have to play around with this to see like what all it seems kind of interesting. I don't know. Has anybody heard about this feature? I mean, a lot of these are just small little things, but it's all about productivity and just trying to streamline things, make it more organized. So I think that's good. So those are my ChatGPT features I wanted to go over. I have a short video I want to play. I know last week we talked a little bit about the whole Claude Fable 5 and how, they took it down. A video came out the next day after we were here where this guy explained it in more detail that I thought was pretty cool. It's short. It's only like a couple of minutes long. I think 2 or 3 minutes long, but it was a good explanation so we can just learn more about this. I think it's good to just stay on top of these things and just be aware of what's going on with these tools. So let me bring this up and see if I can get this to work right. I don't know what it's doing here. It's kind of like, it's not letting me, there it goes.
The new Claude model, Fable 5, just got switched off after the US government forced Anthropic to suspend it for national security reasons. This has not happened before, so here's your super quick briefing on the facts. Last night, Friday, June 12th, Anthropic got a government directive citing national security, telling it to block all access to Fable 5 and Mythos 5 for any foreign national inside or outside the US, including Anthropic's own non-American staff. Officially, it's subject to export controls. There's no clean way to filter that, so they just had to turn it off for everyone worldwide. All other models, by the way, like Opus, still work. Quick context here. Mythos is their most capable model, but it's apparently so powerful that only a few vetted partners can use it. Fable 5 was the public version of that, released with very strong safeguards bolted on to block the risky cybersecurity stuff, and that was released on Tuesday, pulled only 3 days later, last night. Anthropic don't sound happy. They say the government believes they became aware of a method of bypassing or jailbreaking Fable 5, which means tricking it into doing unsafe things. But Anthropic say that they were just previously known minor vulnerabilities that amounted to it fixing software flaws that other models, including ChatGPT 5.5, are fully capable of anyway. Some people are speculating this is the government punishing Anthropic in some way. Because remember, in February, the government told federal agencies to stop using Anthropic's models after a contract row. The Pentagon labeled them a supply chain risk. The White House AI advisor publicly called them woke, leftist, and accused them of fear-mongering to get the whole AI industry regulated. There are even theories that Anthropic somehow engineered all of this to create demand for something that we can't have, so that when it opens up again, everyone will be dying to get their hands on this all-powerful technology, and then they'll file for an IPO at a very high valuation. Not sure about that. Or that the US government is planning to buy stakes in the AI companies, which is true, but maybe this is a way of devaluing Anthropic by putting a dent in their momentum to get a better deal when buying that stake. Not sure about that either, but these are just theories in the comments sections. I suppose the irony here is that Anthropic spent a year telling everyone how dangerous its latest models are and that the AI industry should be regulated. And that's great marketing, saying your products are so good, so powerful, they should be illegal. But when you make that your brand, you risk the government taking you at your word, treating it like a weapon and restricting you. And that's what's happened. Anthropic's obviously complying. It's not available for anyone for now. On a practical note, Opus 4.8 is capable of pretty much anything you need it to do, but it does sound like Fable 5 will probably come back soon, and I expect they'll make it available within our existing subscriptions for a bit before they charge extra for it. But the real story here is the precedent. A government can now switch off a commercial AI product overnight. That's raised conversations around the sovereignty of AI. If your business runs on an AI model headquartered in a foreign land like America, you are at the mercy of that country's government. Maybe we should start to build our own models in our own countries. Maybe we should even all download offline open source AIs running on our devices with no reliance on the cloud or anyone. It brings up all of these things about who owns and who controls AI. The new
Isn't that interesting? I was like, whoa, he has some interesting theories too in the end there, but really just interesting look at all this.
Right. I'm never comfortable when the government gets involved early on and really scares everybody to death without. But I understand how it happens. I understand the inner workings and how that takes place. But I don't think it's safe. And I especially feel that way because of having, spent over half of my life with people who've actually worked in service to the federal government, at the White House level, and them telling me and showing me photos, telling me the stories of just how far behind they were. Those of us who, when I was dealing with, we had 286, and then we had 486, and some, we would be in the real world. I'd be up there at the 486 when they were at 286, and it don't mean those numbers don't mean much to you kids or anything, but it has to do with speed, just like it does today. And so the latest and greatest tools were only available to us who were out there busting our butts in our whatever our other career was to pay for those tools to use.
Yeah.
And getting things done. And then the government would contract us to help them out. It's like, oh, you guys, get a grip. I mean, let's get
I really like Larry's comment because the way he's looking at this is that maybe it could jailbreak was the software being used by the Fed.
Yeah,
so that's interesting, and that the government's still using Claude despite outward appearances. I figured, but unique thing is it's banned worldwide. I mean, it's a lot of different angles with this,
right?
For sure. But I thought the guy explained it all really well.
Yeah.
Well, I think the concern I have in general, and it's been going on a lot lately, is this whole idea of the government buying into these companies.
Right.
Yeah.
It reminds me of the old Soviet Union.
Yep.
Yeah.
But people don't necessarily see that.
Yeah.
And they've been using this stuff for a long time already.
Absolutely.
I mean, there's no question it's been used for whatever, nefarious or otherwise reasons. They're using it in the war right now with Iraq and making mistakes because the AI told them to go one place and then it ended up not being what they thought. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Larry says Big Brother vibes, Jim.
A little bit.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, there's this dark side to AI, unfortunately, and there always will be.
Yeah, I mean, it's sad. Look what happened to the internet. It became, Pornhub and all those things.
Yeah.
There was a dark side to the internet way back in the old days.
There was,
extremely dark because it was so easy to get away with it back then.
Right.
If you live there and you understand how it happened, and now it's like tenfold. Yeah. And now with the use of AI, especially on that subject matter, they can go so much further, and sizing up avatars and all the accoutrements to making things, what that audience needs. So I would hate to be a parent today of a child that's growing up in this, because it's such, even let's say you're a techie person like me, and it's like, I've tried to stay up with technology, and I think I'm as prepared as I can be, but all through life, I have, and with children around me, their curiosity, they're human beings, and they're just going to be kids. They're going to be real. And it's really hard to replicate that. I don't think it's possible. And you never know what they're going to come up with.
Well,
And
I was reading an article today that a friend shared on Facebook where it was a professor talking about one of the impacts of all this technology is the attention span. Like they're having problems with college students who've been admitted to really good schools being able to read
yeah,
because they're spending so much time on these smart devices. They're not reading books or like, oh, I can't read 3,000 words for an assignment. That's too much. And so it goes back to, reading ability has decreased. Now, I don't know if this is more of a US phenomenon, because when you look at how we rate across the world education wise, we're not in the top. I don't even know if we're in the top 15, let alone top 20 anymore. So I think it's important for parents to not forget the fundamentals, right, of reading, writing, arithmetic. Keep the smartphones and those digital devices away from your kids as long as you can, or if you do expose it to it, make it in small bits. And you're seeing also the schools are now starting to ban the phones during classroom time, which I think is actually a good thing.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's excellent if you're the teacher in controlling that. But let's go to the mom and dad side and worrying about the safety of your child. And it was being able to give them that technology. And remember the latchkey children, it's like,
Yeah.
and are they safe? And I want my child safe. And I think it'd be even more challenging today to be a parent having to face those decisions, and then to cooperate with the schools that you have them enrolled in, to make sure that it's safe for everybody, and that you can actually get your mission done, which is to learn in school. And I tell you, it's very challenging.
Yeah,
You
definitely.
have to leave those things to Steven Spielberg, huh? Or is Steven Spielberg even around now? So far out there. Shame on me. But we're all creatives here, so that's awesome.
Definitely. I got one last thing I want to show as we wrap up. It's already at the top of the hour. For anybody that hasn't heard, there's a huge Facebook group for AI called AI and AI Prompts for Entrepreneurs. They have 500,000 members. And a couple of days ago, this is Jonathan Mass. He's the owner of that site.
Mm-hmm.
He got locked out.
Yeah.
And this is not the first time it's happened. We've talked about this here because a while back, Meta's AI locked out a ton of people out of their Facebook groups.
Right.
It was an accident, right? And we talked about it and kind of analyzed it here. And it's just a reminder of where you host your communities, especially like a large community like that, 500,000 people. I wouldn't want that on a free community where they could do whatever they want, even by accident. So, I mean, he does. I know Jonathan has another, a separate place. It's not school, but I've been on there. I forgot the name of it. But anyway, here's what I found so interesting with this. And well, couple things. First, that this happened to him and he's a paid, verified Meta subscriber with a blue check mark, and he said it didn't matter. But here's what was interesting. He does have a video. We don't have time for it, but he says in this video, he walks through exactly what happened, how he used Perplexity AI to craft a support request that actually got through. So he utilized AI to help him get that right message, because it's all about messaging. You can't just call up Meta support, and apparently it worked, being able to get a hold of them. So I thought that was really interesting. So as always, it's a reminder not to have everything on these free platforms where you don't make the rules. We call it rented land. You definitely want to diversify. Where I think social media is great to, as I always say, as I've been saying for like 20 years, cast the wide net, bring the people to you, and then have that place for them, whether it's, your website, your lead magnets, your email list, all of the above. And these days, having some kind of community that you control. For me, at school, I have 3 different school communities. So it goes back to that multi-passionate entrepreneur.
Mhm.
And I love school because something like that would not happen at school. I pay, but it's because I pay to have the control and to get all the great features. And it's a lot of features you're not going to get in a Facebook group.
Yep. I think that's really important. I mean, I think people will still continue to stick with the Facebook groups, maybe because it's easy, maybe because in theory it's free. But in fact, it's funny that you brought that up because I think it's almost a year ago. Because I remember I was going to Digital Wichita, which is going on this week, and then that's when that happened. So, right, it continues to happen. I mean, I did last month. I went ahead and switched to a verified account on Meta, because my Facebook is now my professional is now monetized. So I figured it might be more helpful in case I have issues with that. But there's been people that have gotten demonetized by Facebook
Exactly.
recently from some errors. So it goes back to, right, don't put all your eggs in one basket.
Right.
And I still feel like the video piece of Facebook is something that you have to be aware of. Like, are you really going to spend all your time going live on Facebook when they're going to pull your stuff down? You might as well, record it somewhere else, upload it, or just clip it and have people go to the live stuff. But even there, Paul Gowder was talking about how Facebook stuff that had links in it, and I think it's more so in the post itself, are not getting the same reach as if there's no link.
Exactly. But the 3 of us started live streaming at the same time, pretty much. I mean, that's how we connected again. Madalyn and I have been connected way back when. But the thing is, with this tool that we're using today, StreamYard, we were all I think we were all early beta testers of this one. And it continued to listen to its customers at the time to be able to connect us to multiple destinations. If you wanted your community elsewhere, you could take it there. And I still think that the big kahuna in all this is YouTube, and making sure that no matter what it is you're using, that you actually have a backup there. You're streaming there at the same time. But I don't think you can give up Facebook. I'm sorry, but I went, because multi-generations I've addressed since I got online and from all over the world. And it takes trillions of dollars to connect the world. And Facebook has much bigger pockets overall in the Meta universe. And so if you're there, but it's like, okay, we're there on the weekend. We're there for our meetings on Monday, Wednesday, and Fridays or whatever. But our home base is a destination such as school. And I think school is really the best one because of the fact that it offers you the opportunity to, in the file structure and the learning structure, sharing your knowledge. It's SKOOL, but it really is, we're all continuing to learn. We're lifelong learners, and it addresses that. We can have our courses there. It gives us a great way to pay for them, so that and that we can charge and we can capitalize on that, and that we can share. Because they even have a commission structure that you can share that with your members, and so it's just a win-win-win. That's all there is to it.
Well, Larry has a great comment. He says, school is what Facebook groups should have been.
Absolutely.
100%. 100%. Yeah, for sure. And I think if people are still utilizing Facebook groups, they really need to start migrating them over. It's not going to happen quickly. It's going to take time. People don't want to leave Facebook, but you're going to be so much better on a platform like this, school or any of the others. But I think school's the best one. And let me tell you something school's been doing. I mean, they are invested 100% in communities that are built on their platform, what they've been doing is they're paying a crazy amount, like millions of dollars, to run ads on Meta. So it's on Facebook and Instagram. And what they're doing is running ads of all these communities' cover art. And really made, I've been seeing in their ads, I'm like, I got to redo my cover art because that looks terrible. That's old. I mean, that's cover art I did like 2 years ago in Canva. But anyway, they are doing so much right now to my microphones. I got to make sure. Okay. I still have that short in here. I got my little tape that, but every once in a while I touch it and it messes up. And I used ChatGPT's agent mode last year to help me figure out like my options. And the option is I just figured out a way to tape it down and leave it because I'd have to get a whole new one. This really can't. It's not worth being repaired. And it's an expensive mic. But they're doing everything they can to bring people, because the school has over 200,000 communities, and they've got like millions of people using the platform, and just daily searches on school is insane. Like, so much traffic is on this site now, people going to discover different communities. So they're trying to help all of us community owners get more traffic. And you get analytics when you have your own school, and you can see where they're all coming from, all the different, wherever, all places. And it's interesting to see, I'm noticing the past several months, more and more are coming directly from school, which means they're using the Discovery tab and finding you. And also they gave us the ability to have up to 11 keywords. I don't know why they chose 11. Maybe because the AMP can go up to 11. That's an old silly movie from the 80s. I don't know when something that goes to 11. I only think of one thing, and that's yeah, I'm old. I still remember going to the movie theater to see that movie. Oh, such a good movie. Did you see there's like a remake, or not remake, like a part 2, like, them now. I saw it several months back. It's on cable somewhere. I forgot which one. There's so many different ones now, but it's on one of them. It's like, yeah, as if it's 40 years later, and it's like the band's still together. Anyway, you can have up to 11 keywords attached to your community, and of course use AI to help you get it just right, because it can be really helpful. And I've really seen the difference since we've had the ability to add keywords to them running ads and watching more people coming over. And it's not just people that are seeing it. When you're doing your analytics on here, and what's really cool, it doesn't matter which account you have. They have 2 tiers. If you have your own, if you want to have your own account paid for through school, you got the $9 a month plan or the $99 a month plan. And they had limited the analytics on the $9 a month plan, but just this week, they're now giving you all the analytics. It doesn't matter which account. It used to be reserved for the people paying a lot more, and I've got both. So out of my 3 accounts, one is the $99 a month, the other 2 are $9 a month right now. But on my lower tier plans, I can see all the analytics. And when I look at the conversion rate, which is showing you, okay, out of the number of people that visited and signed up, what's the percentage of the converting? And I see the number is way bigger coming from school now. And it's just mind-blowing to see all this. And it's definitely because they're spending so much money on ads, like millions of dollars on ads. So
very cool.
It is cool. And Jim, you have a community on school. Do you want to do a quick pitch as we wrap up?
I have started one. I got to do more with it. It's called the Authentic Video Academy, and it's teaching people how to authentically create video. And just like when Madalyn got me off my short form video course, and I've been doing that a lot more and really starting to enjoy it, and making me come up with new ideas of things I can share. And sometimes you don't have to be actually on camera. Share things and just kind of a lot of these apps will provide you the captions to make sure and so it's even that whole experiment of captions, no captions, music, no music. It's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm glad you did my 5-day video challenge. I have it set where people can just do it at their own pace. we did it as a cohort group a few months ago, but I've got everything there, and people can come. It's free. Come over to my Video Like a Rockstar School community, and I've got the 5-day challenge in there. And I'm so glad you did that, Jim, and it inspired you to just do more short form, which was something you weren't doing a lot of. You were doing everything but.
Right.
And it was great to see. I'm always seeing you pop up in my various social media feeds with your short form video and how you're monetizing it.
Yeah, even the other day when my wife and I voted, I did a quick video after we left the voting place and talked about how important it is for people to get out and vote, even in the primaries, and gotten some good views and good feedback from that. So it's like, oh, maybe I need to do some more. But it's more, to me, it's more about educating people about the importance of understanding that you need to study issues and not get caught up in the two parties, right?
All right.
Think about the person, not the parties, because that's, I think, half these people yelling and screaming on Facebook haven't studied any issues. They're just like, oh, you're this, then you must be this, or you're this, you're that. And
exactly.
It's like, wow.
Yeah.
Well, I know that for a fact, in spending most of my life and working with federal employees, that, you can't, I do have a party listed, but it has to do with the history of my family first and foremost, but I always vote independently on everything I do. And it's like, this is not, and it was the number one thing that really turned me away from social media. And actually it is right now, I actually researched it because I was like, what is causing all this? And so I look at it. These are things that you shouldn't, there are certain things you shouldn't be discussing that way, because that's what, like a community on school, if you want it focused on that particular issue type of thing, go there. It's private. You can control the entry and the exit. And you'd be amazed at the impact of the discussion that goes on, because you're not going to be having all of the jibber jabber of folks who don't know anything and they just want to espouse something just to be heard. And that gets us back to the Gen Zers. To me, as someone who's communicated online all this time, it was so disheartening to learn that they had been labeled as the loneliest generation in our lifetime. And I sure hope that changes before my exit, because that means that's like my grandchildren, and that's how that would be. And I know there's just nothing more precious than a child's hug and says, I love you, Grandma, I love you, Mom, love you, Dad, that kind of thing. And that's a human factor. You can't change that. AI can't reach out and touch you like that.
Right.
But we're in a connected world, and we've been this way with the internet for so long now.
Absolutely.
And that generation only knows having a phone in your hand and a laptop, and not like how we all grew up, where it was a lot different.
Yeah, really. Remember how big those, even the initial, I have one of those brick cell phones that we got.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, it's like, I can't remember how, lugging that thing around, and I'm
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, wow.
All right, well, this was fun, y'all, as always, and we'll be back next week to see what else is new and available and how we can use these tools better.
Thank you. Thank you all for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for everybody watching live or catching the replay. We appreciate y'all hanging out with us. We'll see you back here. Come join us in school at AI Shortcuts to Work Smarter, and then we'll see you back here next Thursday. See y'all soon.
Sounds good.